Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not. And if you're confused about the background, well, all of the birth month stuff that you're going to see, I don't know how many extra videos I'll do this month. Just because I kind of want to relax this month. I will probably end up pre-recording for something I'm doing in March, but other than that, but I realized that this movie was on um, YouTube to watch for free. By the way, it's someone put it on there. No ads either. Interesting. Someone just put it on there with no ads. Um, and I wanted to watch this and do it, so I watched the movie. I watched reviews. Yeah. But all of the birth month videos that are coming out at noon during these days are pre-recorded, and I've since taken down the background from before, so we have this background, which is the one that you would have seen for my review of Smile 2, or the mini review of Smile 2, and the full review of Venom: The Last Dance. But, yeah, so let's talk about Deep Rising, this movie. I have wanted to watch this movie since I watched the kill count for it on a Dead Meat YouTube channel. Zoran piqued my interest, and I'm like, I want to see this movie. And so, and yes, if you've seen this movie and you know the rumors, it is because of the ending, because I wanted to see for myself about this movie. And also, I'm a fan of Stephen Sommers' movies because none of them have really let me down. The Mummy movies, the two that he did, I think the first one's really good. The second one's not bad. I like his Jungle Book movie from 1994. I saw The Adventures of Huck Finn when I was just a little kid, so I don't remember much. But I remember liking that, but that's way back then. What else was there? I don't hate Van Helsing. I recently rewatched that with my mom around October-ish, and it was fine. CGI was terrible, but it was fine. What was the most recent one that he did that I saw? I also didn't think was that bad. I don't remember. But it's, the G.I. Joe movie he did, I liked. More than the sequel, I liked it. It wasn't anything out of the cartoon, but I liked it. I just liked the style of it. And then they ruined it with the sequel and Killing Off Duke, and spoiler alert. But the sequel's not bad. I just don't care for it. I'd rather watch the first one again. So, yeah. So we start with like a some text telling us about a secret area in the North China Sea. Underneath it is an area as big as the Himalayas. This kind of leads into what the cinematographer says was going to be the follow-up to this that never happened. But at no point in this movie do they go underwater. So it makes no sense to me that was what was setting up at the end of this. I get it, but also I feel like it could be the wrong Jules Verne book. But anyway, I don't know. So we meet our main character, who I'm going to be referring to as T-Bill. His name is Finnegan. He's the captain of this ship, played by Treat Williams. But because of Zoran, I'm going to be calling him T-Bill for the remainder of this review. So if you hear the name T-Bill, I'm talking about the main character of this film, Finnegan. I'm talking about him. So T-Bill is the captain of this ship, and he acts kind of familiar if you think about it. You look at it and you're like, he's kind of like Han Solo. Well, in case you didn't know, originally Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford, was supposed to have this role, but apparently there were issues, and he went on to film Air Force One instead, which is a very good movie. Get off my plane. But instead we got Treat Williams, who's also very good and also very much doing a Han Solo thing. And you can really tell the Han Solo thing because his partner, second in command, is Joey, and a lot of the times he's like, Joey, talk to me, almost as if it's like, Chewie, what do you got? He's like Joey, played by Kevin J. O'Connor, who from this point on would be in every Stephen Sommers film. He was Benny in the first, he's not in Mummy Returns, but because Stephen Sommers liked him so much. But I remember, I think I'm mentioning he wasn't in, I don't think, the Jungle Book. That's because I don't think he meant it, but he's Joey, who is also there with his girlfriend, Layla, or the girl who's not wearing a bra. Guys, they focus a lot on her sitting there, or standing there, and she's on the ship, and it's bouncing, and you can see the nipples, and she's not wearing a bra. They do that like 2 or 3 times, and I'm just like, the first time I'm like, oh, she's not wearing a bra, ooh, uh-oh. But then they do it 2 more times, so I'm like, okay, they know, they're doing this on purpose. Okay. And they're with a bunch of mercenaries, and these mercenaries is a who's who of who's that. Because you got Cliff Curtis and Clint Curtis, who I never heard before, but their names are so similar. Cliff Curtis is in this, so I've loved him, and he's in the Meg, he's in Push. When he pops up, I go, oh, it's Cliff Curtis, that's pretty cool. Trevor Goddard, Kano from Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, he's in this. Jaimon Hansu, Clifton Powell is in this. They're all, these mercenaries who are led by West Studi, who plays Hanover. And they are on some sort of mission that they don't know about. So Joey, he does some snooping around. And he finds they have torpedoes hidden in the bilge or wherever it's called. But it's like, this is not a submarine. Apparently they have also a torpedo shooter, we find out later. But anyway, there's also this cruise liner, which is brought together by Anthony Heald, who plays Canton. And he said, I spent a lot of money to do this, and this has been my dream, and I spent a lot of money to do this, and welcome to my cruise. A bunch of people, and we also see Famke Janssen as the character of, forgot her name, but originally this role was supposed to have gone to another actress whose name I forgot. I forgot. Damn it. All right. Okay, so I went to the kill count. Originally, it was Claire Forlani from Mallrats. I almost said Lab Rats. Mallrats that was supposed to play the role of Trillian St. James, which is the character's name. But she had disagreement with Summers and so left, and Famke Janssen was brought in last minute. Also, the ship they're on is called the Argonautica, a name which Zoran used as a running joke. The Who's a Whatica or whatever, but I'm not going to do that. So the Argonautica. And, they cut back and forth between this and the guys and the mercenaries on T-Bill's ship. But I'm not exactly sure of the time frame, because by the time they reach that Argonautica, it seems like a lot more time has passed than you would seem. Everybody is mostly gone, and Canton and a few others are locked in the vault, and everyone else is dead. And it seemed to have happened very fast, but I don't know. So Trillian is there to steal money. She steals a key card for the vault, but she gets caught because Canton knew who she was. Why she wasn't grabbed immediately as soon as she got on the boat is beyond me. If he knew who she was, it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't have been found right away and taken off the boat, unless she stowed away and hid. I don't know. They don't explain that. So because the brig is not finished, they lock her in the walk-in fridge freezer thing, galley, fridge, whatever. like she's Steven Seagal in Under Siege, and she proceeds to drink wine and eat the food. She'll survive for a while till she freezes to death, I guess. But we get back to T-Bill's ship, and, well, we actually do see that somebody is using sabotage on the ship to do something we're not sure of yet, but there is a point, though, that I like. There's one thing I want to point out. When Trillian, she's on this area, and at first I'm like, why is there water coming down there? Is it like a fountain thing? No, it's like a deck that overlooks the outside. So she's standing there, you get the water coming down, she's standing there, she's looking over that guy's wallet, and then you hear a sound. Now, creatures don't make noises from underwater, but this is one of those silly action thrillers. You just gotta kind of turn your brain off, because, yeah. But I like that. It's because you hear it, and she's like, and that's a sign that there's something else out there. So when this thing is sabotaged, and things start to go wrong, you know the shit's really gonna go wrong. And it was really a bad idea. Yeah. So, meanwhile, on T-Bill's ship, after Joey gets found out for sneaking around, they're beating the shit out of him, and he's like, so T-Bill's whole thing is, I want to ask no questions. I'll just do what you want. It's one of those things. I don't remember the memo that he says, but motto that he says. But by the way, his running catchphrase is "now what?" And they really try to get that over. He says it a lot. It's even the last line of the movie. Now what? It's the never tell me the odds, or I had a strange feeling about this. The Han Solo would say, you know what I mean? But he didn't even say it that much. But, yeah. So, he starts saying that they're coming close to something. They're almost to where they're supposed to be. Obviously, well, no. They come across I think it's like a lifeboat. They crash into, and it causes a big hole in the side of their ship, and some of the fuel to leak out. And so they gotta patch that up. And this is when the mercenaries go into action, and they start screwing holes. And he goes, "Hey, stop putting holes in my ship." And it immediately reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. Stop blowing holes in my ship. It reminds me of. They are going to put a torpedo launcher on there, which is how they're going to fire the torpedoes at something. You don't know yet. But then, instead of just doing that, they decide to go onto the ship, maybe to look for survivors, because I guess T-Bill kind of talks them into it. So they go on there, and this is where I do like how some scenes are framed. There's sometimes a tentacle come up. Oh, I forgot, when shit goes down and the tentacles start attacking people, there's a lady who goes on the toilet. She gets sucked out, and you don't see much. You see her there, you hear the noise, and then you see blood splatter on the wall. The gore effects in this were done by Rob Bottin, who did The Thing. So, yeah, good gore effects. And even the CGI tentacle monsters, they were done by ILM. George Lucas's they did a little movie called Star Wars. And so their special effects, I don't think the tentacle monsters look that bad. Although I don't know what resolution I was watching on YouTube. It could just be a DVD rip. It looked pretty good to me. There are times you could tell that it's CGI tentacles, but in 1998, it looked better than the Scorpion King did in 2003 or 2. Whenever that movie came out, 2002. Whenever that movie came out, it looked better than the Scorpion King did in that movie, and that's saying a lot. You probably need to get ILM to do that movie. But anyway. So the mercenaries start fanning through the ship, and they realize that there's a vault. They come across Trillian, because she for some reason knew how to hack her way out of that and didn't do it before because some reasons. And also did not hear any of the goings on in the ship. She's been sitting there eating food and stuff, and she's bored, so she hacks the place and gets out and meets T-Bill and the others. And by the way, Layla the nipple chick, and a guy named Billy get left behind, and they pretty much both die. Layla's trying to fix the ship, and she gets sucked under, and Billy gets eaten. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. We do get sort of a reaction from Joey later, but it takes so long to get to it, where it's just like, I don't know, like he should have witnessed it or something. I don't know. But we gotta get rid of her to make room for Famke Janssen. So, and that's my assumption, I guess, because she dies, and in the very next scene they find Famke Janssen around then. So, yeah. So then they get to the vault because she's trying to rob the vault again, and they find her. That's how they find her, and they decide to open the vault. And as soon as they do, Djimon Hounsou gets his head hacked by Canton, and then they start firing guns and kill off 3 civilians that are just standing in there with them. And it makes me think, why the hell did they have 3 civilians go in there with them then? Writers. Why did you write that there were... Why? Because we need an action scene? Is that it? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Why were there 3 other people in there? McCanton is there with the ship's captain. And very slowly we start to put the piece together that he and Wes Studi know each other because he mentions him by name before anything really gets going. T-Bill's like, they put 2 and 2 together, and he's like, okay, you were up to something, you did this. And it turns out, yes, he was behind the sabotage, although I do not believe it was actually him. It couldn't be, who actually put the disc in and sabotaged it, because just the way it's edited doesn't make any sense to me. You see the guy go in, put the disc in, and do that, and in the very next scene, Canton's on top giving his speech, and I'm just like, no. When they reveal it, I'm like, no, he couldn't have personally, he behind it, but he couldn't have personally been the one that did it, because how quick was he to get back up on the top deck? Doesn't really make any sense to me, whatever. So then the tentacle monsters really start to reveal themselves and start killing people. He says it's like Anosea, whatever, creatures, but we later find out it's part of a giant underwater monster octopus thing, which I guess is supposed to be the reason for all the other ships disappearing, which we do see footage of the ships at the beginning, which I think is supposed to be from the view of the octopus thing. I don't know. Trevor Goddard dies, and everyone basically, except for Joey, T-Bill, Trillian, Canton, Wes Studi, Hanover. The captain ends up dead. And then they try to run, and they decide to use Wes Studi as sort of bait. And he was given a gun with 1 shot, and he decided to try to shoot T-Bill with it. So now he can't even mercy kill himself and has to do it. Because these things, they don't just eat you. They devour you, bring you into the tentacles, suck the blood and skin off your body, and spit you back out. So you're not instantly dead. You suffer in pain. Because Summers likes to have people suffer. Like how the scarabs in the mummy supposedly killed Imhotep very slowly. Although, that's not what we say in that movie, but whatever. Sure. So Hanover's dead, and then there's a standoff between the 2 of them, which ends up, because they decide they go back to the ship to repair it, and that's when they find out that he spits out Billy, which looks pretty good. And you gotta kind of figure, if you're Joey at that point, you're like, oh, shit. And then Joey sort of has to deal with this. So Joey is in charge of doing the repairs so they can get the ship going. And, but Canton tries to stop them. And so they've armed the torpedo thing, and they just have it going to crash into the ship liner, which blows up, and then we get what is on the, they keep teasing it for a little while too, the jet ski thing from the cover, one of the DVD covers. And so they get on a jet ski, they go through that, they jump out, the explosion happens, There's one point where T-Bill walks in to talk to Joey and he's just gone. This is never explained completely, but we'll get to it. He's just gone. His hat is there. It looks like there's some goop. So he kind of mourns Joey. But they escape the explosion and end up on an island. But lo and behold, Joey shows up on a surfboard. And if you look during the explosion, you can see a surfboard fly out with the rest of the stuff because they digitally added a surfboard so that it would make sense when Joey goes floating in on the surfboard. What doesn't make sense to me is what Joey never explains. Like, what that your take? He goes, no. They never explain what happened. And that's because I think it is confirmed he was supposed to have died. And the test audience liked him. And this is an example of good things that test audiences can do and not bad things test audiences can do. So he was brought back. But my question is, so it's never really explained what happened to him and how he became to find the surfboard, and I don't know. And that's because I think there was a death scene that was deleted and they just didn't shoot another scene. They didn't want to do reshoots, so they deleted that scene and did that one scene with them. Yeah. Now they're on this weird island, a mysterious island, you could say, and they hear roaring. And then you get one last. Now what? Here's the thing. So, according to the cinematographer, this was supposed to be for Stephen Sommers' next film, which was Journey to the Center of the Earth. But like I said, wouldn't it make sense if they did The Mysterious Island? Another Jules Verne book, Mysterious Island, because that's Mysterious Island. But that never got made. It did eventually with Brendan Fraser, but it wasn't Stephen Sommers that directed. However, I like the other rumor that this was supposed, and it makes a lot of sense. There's a volcano, there's something going through the trees, there's the roar, that this was supposed to lead to a King Kong movie directed by Sommers. I like that better. I also had an idea for how you could do the movie and make it applicable, because a lot of people will say, oh, when you got to remake King Kong, you got to set it in the 30s like the original because of the way the plot is. But you could have it adapt it to the 2000s as it would be by that point. Say it came out in 2001-ish, 2001, you know. He does The Mummy in 99, so 2001, you get that. And let's say instead of an old-timey Hollywood director guy, it's an independent documentary filmmaker who wants to make a documentary about the North China Sea thing where people disappear, the ships disappear. He wants to do a documentary of that, and he's got two people with him that are on his side, really. His assistant, male guy, kind of like Joey, an assistant type character that helps him with the camera. Maybe he's a cameraman of sorts, assistant, and a female person who is like the star, gonna be like the Heather, because this is post Blair Witch, so maybe he's got to capitalize on this and do the thing. Oh, people are disappearing from here. Let's do that. She's like the Heather of this. She's on camera. She's doing the talking. And then he has a group of military people or mercenaries or security detail. That security guy who's going to be the main villain and his security people. And because they're out for fortune and glory, they're there to protect him. But once they realize that there's something else going on, they decide, hey, we can get money. We can be rich and famous. They try to take King Kong from the island. In my version, King Kong wouldn't leave the island, but this team would meet up with T-Bill and his team, and then after sort of form an alliance. Maybe T-Bill has been there, you know, and met Kong or something. You could do a scene where they meet him at the beginning or something. Like you can pick up where this left off and have it be Kong, and he'd be like, and then smash cut to 3 years later, as it would be. 3 years? 99, 2001, yeah, 3 years later. And now we're following this independent filmmaker. Yeah, you could do that. And like I said, you can have him fight the dinosaur. He wouldn't leave the island. The climax would be him climbing a volcano to get away from the mercenaries and their weapons. And I don't know about helicopters, but you could do something. I don't know what it would be, but no, he's just climbing, or maybe it's the villain that has her by the volcano, and King Kong has to climb up to save her, and T-Bill and them are there. I don't know, but it could be an interesting way to do things. I don't know. I thought way too hard about this when they said it was a King Kong prequel of sorts. I'm just like, oh, there's ideas you could do. But as it stands with this movie, sans the King Kong stuff, pretty good. And then it keeps me in a stream of movies where I'm saying Stephen Sommers is not that bad at directing. You guys need to leave him alone. Now I know that the one exception to this is Van Helsing, which I think I gave a middle of the road. I wasn't even able to finish that, I don't think, but I think I reviewed it. My Blu-ray is not. I need to get a new copy. But anyway, I never thought that movie was terrible. I always thought it was okay. It's a little bit, but at worst, it's the middle of the road. So, yeah, but this is pretty good. I liked it. I did. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Deep Rising? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.